Nothing feels right, nothing ever goes my way. I threw my future away. Now I walk alone out here in the cold, wandering astray. Where's my future? Gonna need a home. You'd expect the same now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Your journey back to birth is haunting you. It's haunting you. Your departure from the earth is haunting you. It's haunting you. Only those who accept will find that acceptance in return. We have been trimmed down like hedges and told just to sit and wilt and spit at each other from a distance.
Hey.
Constant resistance from you. I'm gonna need a
Audio. Stand by here. There we go. There we go. How's that? All right. There you go. Now everybody can hear me. Hello. Okay. All right. Now you can hear me. I'm going to put some of that music back up because it's a great song. All right. Hello. Greetings from the barn. From the beginning here, I'll tell you, if a giant bug flies into my head, don't be surprised. I am broadcasting from a barn somewhere in New York State. I wanted to hop on here. It's kind of an impromptu sort of broadcast that I've decided to do. A lot of the times I'm on here with Arturo or Paul or Frank, Arturo Santaella, Paul Bazile, Frank Kavanaugh, or I'll have some sort of, guest with me that I or we were interviewing. I don't always have the opportunity to just jump on here and just talk to you. And I don't have any news in front of me or papers or anything like that. I'm going to shoot from the hip, speak from the heart tonight for about an hour. The name of the broadcast is I Don't Want to Grow Up. And at the end of this broadcast, I will play a video of me performing with Marky Ramone in a band called Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg, from a show that I did with him about 10 years ago. And I have the whole show, and I'm not supposed to be. I have the whole show, and in that show we performed it's a Tom Waits song. It's a cover of a Tom Waits song, but the Ramones used to do it. It's called I Don't Want to Grow Up. And I was listening to it, and I had a visceral, emotional response to it. I haven't heard the song in a long time. My daughters love the song. My oldest daughter, Olivia, really liked the song. It's a great tune. The way that the Ramones do it is just incredible. Joey sings it perfectly. Joey sings everything perfectly. But I was listening to it and going over the course of the past year, the things that have transpired and the long journey that I've been on for 25 years, plugging this past year into that whole long thing is an amazingly emotional thing for me, because we're almost at the year. it's been it'll be a year in a couple of weeks since I was canceled and blacklisted for the whole Black Lives Matter deal. The Long Road to You tour came to an end in March. Everybody was freaking out about the virus that had come from China. Nobody knew what was happening. Everybody was afraid because we didn't have information. We just knew people were getting sick. I remember the last show in Alabama where it was just sort of still kind of like, ha ha ha, keep your hands out of your face. Cough into your elbow. Ha ha ha. And so we went home. Everybody went home. Everybody did. Everybody went home. Everybody. And so did we. So did I. And started to broadcast. Nobody could do anything. Everything had melted down, and I started hopping on here and on the Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. I get so frustrated. One of the things lately, I get frustrated because the point that I'm trying to make is I'm reminiscing to those times, because those were times that I still had, 250,000 followers between all the Facebook pages, and there was a bunch of Facebook pages that I had. It wasn't just one. And the Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I was building Twitter back up because Twitter had been taken down in 2018 when I was banned and canceled from the festivals up in Edmonton in Canada, the Down and Out festivals. And then there was a whole blow up about that because I was retweeting things and posting pictures that the event runner, the managers of the event, the board of somebody on the board of advisors who was running this safe space event in Edmonton in Canada didn't like what I was putting on my social sites. That's what it came down to. He didn't like what I was putting on my social sites, and he canceled me from the show. But he didn't call me up and say, "Hey man, this is what's going on. This is how I feel." This guy went to the media. I forget what his name is. I don't have any news in front of me, so I can't go to any sort of article. The larger point that I'm trying to make is the frustration of having to begin again. I don't give a shit about Facebook or Twitter. Like, I don't go on there, and I've been doing it again. I've really been trying hard with Twitter, because in order to play this game that I'm playing, in order to be in this space that I am occupying, I have to have some sort of presence on those platforms. And there's also Brighteon and Gab and Rumble. I don't know what the hell happened with Parler. I don't know what happened. I had thousands of followers on Parler, and I don't know if that profile's still up there. I can't get to it through my phone. I'll be honest, I haven't tried on the desktop. I probably should, but I haven't. Yeah, so there's all these social sites, and I'm not the type of person that's going to sit on there and look through all other stuff and respond to things and repost things. I do the best that I can. Paul Bazille's constantly on me about Twitter, you know, and at first I wasn't doing anything. I had to be kicked in the shins to do these things. And that's always been the way. That's always been the way with me. That's not my strong point, but I worked at it really hard. I worked at it hard, and I still wasn't really putting the pedal to the metal and getting the most out of all of the social, the social sites and what I could have been doing. Now that I've lost it all and I understand the power of the sites and how I could have used them with the amount of people and the reach that I had all around the world. You go all the way back to the days where JV Bastard and I would drive around this country with like a box of merch, just like a box of merch with some 8x10s and some shit that we found around our apartments or whatever we had to sell. And we would get in my Ford Ranger. It's just this 2-seater pickup truck, stick shift, and we drove, we would do 50, 55, 60 dates all around America, staying at places that today you shouldn't or wouldn't stay there without having a firearm close by. We stayed at some crazy places. And we worked hard to. I remember the first Comfort Inn we stayed at after staying at Motel 6s type deals, and we started making enough money to be able to stay at it was like Comfort Inns, and you'd have thought that we were at the Ritz Carlton, the way that we're just saying, yes, we made it. All the while building up the social sites, talking to people, putting in the work, sleeping in the truck, sleeping in shitty places, making no money. There's videos that's in Blackness in the Forest where Joe and I are sitting in the car and we didn't get paid again. And it would happen often. Just no money, just nothing. Whatever we made from merchandise, and that's what we would have, and that's what we would go on. And those were the days. There was no Facebook on the phone or anything like that. It was MySpace. It was MySpace days. I even got banned on MySpace at one point. Yeah. Weird how life works. I'm not on here complaining or anything. I'm just, like I said, I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm just talking. It's Friday. It's a Friday night. Happy Friday night. It's 9:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go to my website, officialmichaelgraves.com. officialmichaelgraves.com. Sign up for the newsletter. I was streaming last night. I did a special broadcast about Colombia and South America. I got a lot of people signed up for the newsletter. Thank you very much. I also got a really great email. I won't say the name out loud. Thank you very much if you're watching. I'll use her first name, Christy. Thank you very much for that really heartfelt email. I will write you back. There's a lot of great people out there, a lot of good people, and I appreciate every single one of you. I do. I love you all. You continue to support me and help me, and you're there for me. Lately, I've been doing a lot more talking than I have playing. And that's weird for me as well, to be doing this type of thing more than playing. And I play when I'm not producing or editing, or, working on things here in the studio. I guess I should be doing more playing for you, but I do my best. Like I said, I will play for you a video that you've never seen before, a song that you've never heard before. And speaking of songs that you've never heard before, if you sign up for the newsletter at officialmichaelgrays.com, you'll see the holding page there. The new website's coming up soon. Hopefully we'll have it going in about a week. Mid-City Digital, hat tip to Mid-City Digital. I think it's midcitydigital.com. Tremendous. You need any sort of website work out there, you get in touch with Guyman. Tell him Michael Grays sent you. So Guyman over at Mid-City Digital is helping to get the website up and off the ground. And we figure we should have it up in about a week. But go there right now, check out the holding page, and put your email into the newsletter. This way I can stay in touch with you, keep in touch with you. Tell you all about the new and exciting things that I'm doing. Share with you my thoughts and prayers. And you can see the new merch and music and videos and all the things that I'm working on here. All right, so continuing with my thoughts. Let me just take a look at your comments, see what's happening here. And yeah, I'm not streaming through Facebook tonight, so thank you everybody. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Help me build this page back up to 1,000 followers. At least I know I'm close. Push out these videos. Let me know questions that you have. You want to hear me talk about something. You want me to pray for something. You have any questions, comments, leave it in the comments section. Or I've been getting such great emails. Thank you very, very much. RadioDeadly@gmail.com. RadioDeadly@gmail.com. Some of you have been asking me about Proton Mail. I will get myself a secured email soon, I guess. I'll talk to my guys about it. And but for now, RadioDeadly@gmail.com. You're not passing me confidential secret information. Just write me a fucking email, RadioDeadly@gmail.com, if you want to get in touch with me. If you have super sensitive information, I don't know what to tell you. RadioDeadly@gmail.com. What else? Oh, Twitter at Radio Deadly. Some people are watching on Periscope. Some people are watching at Twitter. Got to build back Twitter as well. So help me out. Repost this. Follow me. If you're watching this, you probably are following me. Twitter at Radio Deadly. Let me check out your comments, see what's up here. Hey, there's Guyman. Yeah, I was not on the War Room today. It got pushed to next week, so I'll be on next week. It's band.video, infowars.com. With Owen Schroyer and Frank Kavanaugh, we do something called the Headbangers Hour. At least once a month. Sounds like too much social media. Take breaks. I don't look at social media. I don't need breaks from social media because I don't really. That's one of the problems, is that I hate social media. I'm not in the social part of it. I've never really been a social person. Very introverted, and I don't have this like secret me. Like my personality is the same online as it is offline. You know, when you meet me in person, I'm the same. I put out that same sort of thing online. I'm not looking at anybody else's. Yeah, I'm not seeing what other people are doing. I don't go to other people's profiles. Between my wife and Arturo, they read the messages that come over, and through Instagram and Facebook, and I'm alerted. I'm given a message when it's important, and when they think that I need to. I just don't look at it. It's not because I'm not allowed. I just don't. I don't want to say that I don't care, because that's kind of sounds like it kind of sounds shitty, but I kind of don't care. And it's not that I don't care about correspondence. It's not that. I love correspondence. I'm in this. I do this to make connections with people. That's what I love about it. I love the world. I love the people in the world. I love humanity. You know, I love that. And from that comes this unending curiosity about everything. And it's always been there in my life, this curiosity about everything, and just being blown away by life and by nature and by science and by math and history and politics and music and art. And from that, I'm so overwhelmed at everything in a good way. That leads me to my art. That leads me to my music. That leads me to wanting to communicate higher things on a higher level. And that's what music and art is able to do. It transcends the usual ability, this everyday ability to communicate with one another. And it even transcends just regular language. There's places I've gone in the world where they don't speak English. I can't have a conversation with the person in front of me because they don't understand the words coming out of my mouth, and I don't understand the words coming out of their mouth. But I can sing them a song, and I can convey emotions to them, and communicate on that level. And it's pretty deep, yo. It's a pretty deep thing. And so it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't care in that way. I just fail at social media, which brings me back to how amazing it was to be able to sit upon all of those customers, if you will, fans, connections, the network of people that were out there that I could talk to, that I could communicate with, that I can perform for, that I can as well, because this is a business, I can reach out to, and those people's transactions within the Michael Graves world paid me and paid my group of people. I had redoubled my efforts after redoubling my efforts and putting out, I don't know how many it was, a dozen records maybe in the span of just a couple of years. The Hydraulic Entertainment Blitz, where I was just writing. I was putting out a record, every couple of months. And it wasn't crap either. The songs are pretty good. Most of them. There's some iffy ones. But from there, recommitting to saying, all right, I have a bulk of material. Now the next phase of the career is tour, is to just perform. Because more than anything, where I shine, where I am at my best as an artist, as a performer, as a musician, as a vocalist, is on stage, is live, in a live setting with a real band, on a stage, in a room, in a theater. That's where I do my some of my best work, better than most, and I could hang with anybody on any level. I'm confident that I can hang with anybody on any level, whoever that is, wherever they are in the world, at a moment's notice. And that's not braggadocious. That's confidence in my abilities. And so away I went. And the band toured the world. And started out, in small clubs and worked our way to, remember how glorious it was that I had made it back to Europe, that the band was going back to Europe. Michael Graves was going back to Europe for a full-fledged tour. I think it wasn't the beginning of the end. It was one before it. It was I can't believe I can't remember. It's the Thomas Paine tour. I can't remember it. Dang it. Anyway, went to Europe. It was like and hadn't been to Europe since. I had gone with Marky Ramone, played some gigs, but I hadn't been there since I had been blacklisted and censored and canceled in 2004, 2005. I think we were going to go to Europe. New York Times article came out and everybody freaked out. Cancel Michael Graves. He's a racist, Nazi, right-wing conservative. Ban him. If you come to Europe, we will kill you. If I could not step one foot in Germany, or I'd be killed. That's what I was told. It was absolutely nuts. So we're going back to Europe, and it's this amazing thing, and it was great. And we built, and it got bigger and bigger, and it was great. And then in March, about a year and a half ago, the band, Michael Graves was poised. We were ready for a world tour. We had a world tour set, ready to go. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars circulating through. And it all went away. It all went away really because I did not play ball and put a black box on my social sites. That's where it started. Because before that, I was working with Bruce Johnston. We were doing this great online, VIP series that was interactive. Bruce Johnston from the Beach Boys. And it was such a cool dynamic. He's way old school. I mean, telling stories about running into Elvis Presley and listening to the Sex Pistols' first album in the studio. Richie Valens. Like, he remembers the beginning of rock and roll. And so we were doing these online things, and there was other people I was doing business with, obviously making money, agents, managers, lots of stuff happening, lots of connections. And then the George Floyd death, the death of George Floyd. Then all of a sudden it became Black Lives Matter. It was the whole Black Lives Matter thing where there was this rash of, all of a sudden the police were hunting black people, and it became this whole big argument about privilege. And then all of a sudden I found myself, because I didn't put this black box on my social sites, which I didn't even know about Blackout Tuesday. I didn't know anything about it. And then all of a sudden I find myself on defense. And people, because of the color of my skin, because I was white, because my father was a cop, and I grew up in a middle class environment in the suburbs, Dumont. All of a sudden, I was the enemy because I had said that I'm not going along with this because it's a scam. Black people are not being hunted down in the streets. And how dare anybody say that I am part of some sort of problem or I don't understand something, that I need to be re-educated, is what my former guitarist actually said in a video that I had found and confronted him about. That I needed to be re-educated about things because I was white and that I did not understand and I could not understand because I was white. And my father was a cop and I grew up middle class. So how could I possibly know any sort of struggle? Or how can I know the nature of any sort of... So I didn't grow up, you know, in an urban neighborhood and all this other crap. Oh, well, your dad was a cop, so, you know, you grew up in Dumont. And everybody went batshit crazy at me. And I was saying that it was a scam. I was saying that it was neo-Marxism. And that Black Lives Matter, blacklivesmatter.com, wasn't a non-profit organization, and they were just taking people's money. Why would you align the world against somebody like me just because of the way that I look? People all of a sudden who were literally threatening my life coming to different places because years ago, those same people telling me that I was just a cog in the machine. I was a shill in the system. You know, I was part of it all because of the things because I was right wing and I was a conservative. And so I was raging for the machine. I was part of the problem because I was sticking up for the government, or cheering for Bush or some shit. And now all of a sudden, here are these people telling me that I'm less than human because I'm not with this organization where all of a sudden the largest corporations in the world are throwing tens of millions of dollars at and creating these violent clashes that eventually led to people dying in groups that I know people that are associated with. Literal murder. Forgive me for not remembering the gentleman's name who was murdered after the Patriot Prayer gathering in I think it was in Portland. And the millions and millions of dollars worth of damage that was done by the violence in the name of Black Lives Matter and Antifa. How did that further anything? And I don't want to hear about the peaceful protesters. I know a lot of peaceful protesters too that were, for example, at the Capitol January 6th. I know how it goes. I get it. And to think about what all of that did to my infrastructure and to the relationships with people that I had known for 2 decades, people that I was doing business with, all of that chaos and all the damage that came out of that, and all that was lost for what? Patrice Kahn Colors just left Black Lives Matter. The person who founded that whole thing. Came up with the slogan. Ran away with millions upon millions of dollars. Never did one good thing for the black or the underprivileged community. How did that money get disseminated? It didn't. It was a scam. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Where did it go? Answer that question for me. Because I'm not wrong. It was a scam. It was a total scam. It was the biggest scam using black people as the front. Yep. Yeah. So, it's funny how things go. After all that, I still continue to build. I still continue to build. Best I can. One of the problems that I have is I try to do too many things all at once here. Let me see here. I'm looking at your comments right now. Right on. I've seen Glenn Danzig live so many times. I've been to more Glenn Danzig shows than I think anything else. And I appreciate you recognizing the heartfeltness of my presentation. I appreciate you tuning in and checking it out. I'm going to play for you the video of Marky Ramone and I performing I Don't Want to Grow Up here in just a minute. It's funny how life works. Before I came on here, I was reading my Bible. I'm not going to preach at you. I promise. I know some of you don't want to hear it. But I'm a Christian. They call me the punk rock preacher. I read my Bible a lot. I'm not going to preach at you. I just want to tell you about this story because it's pertinent to this whole thing. It's about the prophet Elijah. It's in the Book of Kings. It's funny because it starts. It's like First Kings, first. I think it's the first chapter. 9th verse. There's a lot of 1s and 9s. Anyway, it's the story of Elijah, and he gets Ahab to gather all of the prophets of Baal and everybody who sits at Jezebel's table. Basically, people that don't believe in God. Baal is their god. And Elijah challenges these prophets. It's like 400 of them. And he asks them a question first. He asks them, how long will you halt between two opinions? How long are you going to stay in this gray area? You have to choose. He's basically saying it comes to a point where you have to choose. Is Baal your God, or is the Lord, the creator of heavens, is Elijah God? And he challenges these prophets, and he says to go get 2 bulls, and they slaughter the bulls, and they put them in pits, and they challenge. Elijah challenges them to call to your God, and if Baal comes and sets fire to the pit, well, then Baal is God. But if he doesn't, I'll then call on my. We'll see what happens, and then Elijah says, I'll call on my God, and we'll see what happens. So at the end of the day, the prophets of Baal fail. It's a longer story, but I'm going to give you the fast version because the point I'm trying to make is further on down the road. But it's a great story. A lot can be taught from it. Anyway, so there's this. So Elijah challenges the prophets of Baal, and those who sit at the table of Jezebel to this challenge that they ultimately lose, and the fire comes when Elijah calls on it after he's poured water on the altar 3 times. Unbelievable. There's no way that you can start this pit on fire, and God comes and fire goes up. Elijah has all of the prophets of Baal killed. He has them all killed. And Jezebel doesn't like that, and Ahab goes after Elijah to kill him. So Elijah obviously runs, and he's running. He gets out of Dodge, comes off of Mount Carmel, and he starts running for the hills, or the other hills. And at some point, he comes to a juniper tree. He comes to a tree, and he's praying in this tree, and he's praying to God. And he's just saying, "God, just let me die. Just, I'm done. I'm no better than those people that I just killed. I'm just like them, and I'm tired." He's come apart, man. He's tired. He's hungry. An angel comes to him, and he lays down and goes to sleep. The angel says, "You need to sleep. You need to eat." And so Elijah does. He lays down, and he goes to sleep, and he eats, and he gets up. He travels a little bit more, and he does it again. He rests, and he sleeps. The bigger lesson in that is, even these supernatural forces that came from God, the angels came into the physical and told Elijah, who was running. They didn't do anything supernatural. There was no spell made. The angel simply said, "You need to go to sleep. You need to have a drink of water. You need to have something to eat. You need to take care of yourself before you can do anything else. You're coming apart right now. You're crazy. You're tired. You're emotional." Like a kid, right? When a kid's tired or needs to eat, they become crazy. In my family, they say, "You're getting ugly." Say, "Oh boy, he hasn't eaten. He's getting ugly." Elijah was getting ugly, and the angel said, "You got to take care of yourself. You got to lay down. You got to sleep. You got to eat." It's an important lesson. Sometimes you just got to take care of yourself. So the point I'm trying to make here is, for me, I'm stepping out of things for a bit. I'm going to continue to make my music. I have stuff cooking that we're putting out. You sign up at officialmichaelgraves.com and sign up for the website, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll hear about all the new merchandise. You'll hear about the new music. You'll hear about the things that I'm doing. You'll hear about the Radio Deadly Show, which you can also see on censored.tv. You can sign up and use the promo code GRAVES. Censored.tv, use the promo code GRAVES. It's like $9 a month. I do special work. I produce shows over there under the Radio Deadly brand, which is kind of like this. It's a very news-heavy, information-oriented broadcast. Most of the broadcasts that actually are on censored.tv are panel discussions. There's a lot of guests. Arturo Santaella, Paul Basile are often on the shows. There's one that's just uploaded. Chris Crotu's on this one. It's very entertaining. It's very informative as well. It's called I See UFOs. We've been on this paranormal track for a while, which is kind of cool. So censored.tv, use promo code GRAVES. And there's months worth of work up there if you go there and check it out. Yeah, there's some really good stuff. I do some puppetry. You can meet Grimple Graves. Find the episode where Grimple Graves pops up. It's really great. It's funny, that I can often, I know where I'm at. I haven't been wanting to be, or I haven't been producing anything funny. For a while I was producing, and I was working on a lot of the comedic stuff that I love to work on and do and produce with the puppets, and with the stuff that I write. And I haven't, Grimple Graves hasn't come out of the closet in a couple of weeks, so we might have to get back to that. All right, censored.tv. Use promo code Graves. RadioDeadly@gmail.com. Write me an email. Twitter @RadioDeadly. OfficialMichaelGraves.com. Sign up for the newsletter. And there's a new song called Time Traveling Man. I'm trying to get a video done for it. I was working on it yesterday. It looks tremendous. I'm trying to get a video done for it. But if you sign up for the newsletter, the new site will be up next week. So you're going to get a download link to the song, Time Traveling Man. It's really cool. OfficialMichaelGraves.com. Sign up for the newsletter. And you can hear about all of the things that are going on. It's an important part of moving forward to be on that newsletter. I'm really going to do a lot of reaching out through that and to tell you what's up. So sign up for that, because as I was saying, I'm taking a step back, sort of. I was talking to my family this morning, and I said, it's funny. I feel like, life has brought me full circle in a lot of ways, where I'm back working, at the resort, and I'm trying to get the band off the ground. Like when I was a kid, I would work at the resort in the summer times, and have all these dreams of music and art and entertainment. And the dream is still the same. It's a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same. And it's not a dream of, I don't strive to be famous. I strive to reach a lot of people, but it's not the fame that I want. It's not that. I more so have the desire to be an example, amongst other things, an example to young people, to older people that need an example to look to and towards as a symbol of strength and integrity, virtue, and as someone who, when you hear my name or you see my face, it's synonymous with never give in and never give up in your life. No matter how many times you get knocked down or things become tough and it seems like there's nowhere left to step or go, part of my work and my mission is to help people find the strength inside themselves to take that next step. Just one. Just take one step forward. Sometimes you take that one step forward and the wind at your face might blow you 2 steps back. Now we're dealing with 3 steps forward, and that's okay. The theme of tonight's presentation was I don't want to grow up, because of the full circleness of what I've been feeling the past couple of days. Once I let go, I was really holding on to maybe holding on to is not the right set of words. I was really leaning into the wind with the full brunt of myself. That headwind of losing everything and going through what I've just gone through again, just in a much more amplified way. Again, I've been living this since 2004. I was one of the first canceled, blacklisted musicians. This has been my truth since 2004. So I've been leaning into this headwind for the past year and a half. And that's just I'm not just of what I lost in my career. I mean, everything. What's happening in the country, what's happening in the world, what's happening to us, all of that, all of it. My work that I do here with the Radio Deadly Show, the work that I do behind the scenes, I do a ton of writing. I do a ton of research. Some of my family ask me, those that know me, even my wife, and she sees I have notes and just years and years of accumulated news articles and things that I write that are breaking down those articles. We're talking about when I lived in Little Rock. This funny story about I was reporting on and covering an abortion rally, an HRC at the Little Rock Capitol, and it was like a zombie. Everybody was so nice to me, and then they found out who I was and what I was doing and who I was working with and affiliated with, and it was like we have one that can see, and it turned crazy. And that was like 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Anyway, taking into account all of what has gone down in the past year and a half, and then just like a couple of days ago, it was like a bubble popped, and I said, I can't. I have to make I have to change in my mind. I have to make a change, and that flipped me onto a different thread. And it feels good. It feels good. But when I talk about life coming around in a circle again and me going away, what I mean by that is I am going to focus my brain and my attention and my energy on other things for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, over at the place that I worked so hard and loved as a child, that I still love, the place that I just got married at, a place that my heart and my soul really in many ways emanate from because of the experiences and the relationships that I had and have in that place, and because it was somewhere that I had spent a lot of time. And in my story of how I got to the Misfits and why I got to the Misfits and who I am as a musician, and why and how I was prepared for when I eventually met the Misfits, is all rooted in this place. Even where I am here in the barn, it's all part of it. And so I'm going back there again, and being there and working in that production, because what happens over there is a production, and it's amazing to be a part of something where there is such happiness. It's a family resort. There's children, there's young people, there's old people, there's new parents, there's old parents, there's grandparents, there's generations and generations of people, families that I've known since I was a child, that now have children and grandchildren, and it's just it's not about money, and it's not about work. It's about, for me, I mean, it is about those things. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I am plugged into the real world. I'm a normal human being. I understand. I'm not just dismissing all those things. But at the end of the day, the driving, the motivating factor, the joy and the gratitude comes from being a part of a production that at the end of the day brings so much happiness and joy to this world, and from that all the experiences just emanates beautifulness into the world. And because of that place, again, is so connected to my childhood, and my heart and my soul emanates from that, is what brought me to I don't want to grow up. And before I came on and I was listening to the song and watching the video, it's not that I don't want to grow up. I love my life. I love where I'm at. I'm so in love with this woman that I just married, and we have a beautiful child that brings us, we have 3 children, and a son that just brings us so much joy, and the 2 girls are just more joy and happiness than I could ever imagine. My mind is blown every day, and I love my farm, as dysfunctional as it is, and those damn goats that I want to. They might have to go live at the sanctuary. They destroy everything. We have 160 acres worth of grazing pasture for these animals, and they need to break into the barn and eat my wires and kick over my desk. I don't know. And I hope that you are at that point of joy and gratitude in your life. If not, let's all pledge to find joy and gratitude in everything that we do. And all right, so I've gone about an hour. I'll plug one more time, please. If you haven't subscribed to the Facebook or Twitter, please subscribe, especially to the YouTube. But also go over to officialmichaelgraves.com and sign up for the newsletter. Let me take a look at your comments here and just make sure that there's nothing pressing that I'll address, and then I will show you. I'll let this video roll. Is that Ireland? Greetings from Ireland. You should play a show here someday. Dylan, I have a really funny story about Ireland. My family is Irish. I just married a girl who's almost completely Irish. I named my son Thomas. So I cannot wait to come back to your country. My family comes from County Monaghan, and so yeah, I can't wait to get back there. I'll tell you the funny story one of these days. I don't have my glasses on, so I have to do this. Yeah, I loved going to the Czech Republic. Lots of love there. I'll be back. I hope you're doing well out there. Oh, I know. It's funny. I've been Guyman can't decide which is his favorite album, Vagabond or When Worlds Collide. When Worlds Collide is a great record, and I wanted to do a show about the lyrics to that record, because I wrote it when I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was about a decade ago, and there's a lot of stuff that I was writing about then that is going on right now that I was worried about then. So I was thinking about doing a whole episode and about the lyrics in some of those songs. Let's see. Thank you, Dr. Mad. I pray to God every night that he will form me into an instrument to carry out his will as he sees. So thank you very much. I will continue to pray for you. Please continue to pray for me and continue to pray for this world. I've done my best tonight to stay away from, it's not even nihilism, to stay away from some of the things that, I was going to read an article that's just, but I don't want to spoil I think the overall feel of this transmission, which has been pretty good. My daughter's favorite movie, Peter Pan. I saw Peter Pan live with Sandy Duncan when I was a kid. It's true. You need to talk to Paul Joseph Watson. Yeah, Paul Joseph Watson did a really, really great piece on me in defense of me in 2018. If you go to band.video, and in the search section, put Michael Graves, Paul Joseph Watson, and I think it might come up. And he came to my defense. I'm a Paul Joseph Watson fan. Had to wait 20 years to meet you in Germany. I hope it's not that long again. I hope it's not that long again either. Germany is one of my favorite places in the world to go. I love that country. I hope that I can get there again soon. Look at that. I left Instagram, and this is my first time here finding you again. I didn't leave. They kicked me off. When I got kicked off, they just turned it off. There was no warning. There was no 3 strikes. There was no 1 strike. There was no warning. It was just, hey man, nothing works anymore. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. He was on Twitter. I responded to that. It's funny that you say that, Perla, because I responded to that. He was saying, name one popular musician who's been silenced by the media. Like, he didn't use the word relevant, but like mainstream. And I said, hey, me. But I think that he meant like pop music, like pop culture, like pop musician, like someone with a record contract, like Dave Grohl or Olivia Rodriguez or whatever her name is, or someone like that. And I only know that because my daughter makes me listen to. She doesn't make me listen to her one of her singles. Driver's License is a great song. That's a whole nother thing that we can go down to and talk about. Is what do they call it? TikTok artists. Right on. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna leave you with this video. Leave your comments below. radiodeadly@gmail.com. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Let me know your questions. I'll put it up on the screen one more time. radiodeadly@gmail.com. I've been getting such beautiful emails. If you want to ask me a question, if you want me to cover some sort of topic, I have a question about a song, anything at all, something that you're going through. If you have a question about God or scripture or whatever it is, get in touch with me. radiodeadly@gmail.com. Also, one last time, censored.tv. There's exclusive content over there that you can only see at censored.tv. That is the Radio Deadly show. Use the promo code Graves because it's behind a firewall. That's why it's behind a paywall. That's why I've been doing these broadcasts here. And my audio has just been terrible lately because I change things so many times because I do things here in this studio, and I got to upgrade some of my audio equipment. Anyway, I do these broadcasts here because the ones over at censored.tv are behind a paywall. It's like if you use the promo code Graves, it's like $9.50 a month. And check it out for a month, check it out for 2 months, check it out for 3 months. You can go month by month. There's a whole bunch of episodes up already. I think we're on episode 17. So there's a whole ton of stuff you can check out that you can't see anywhere else. Censored.tv. radiodeadly@gmail.com. Obviously, I am Michael Graves. I think that's it. Yeah, go to officialmichaelgraves.com and sign up for the newsletter. All right, I'll leave you there. Here is Marky Ramone and I performing I Don't Want to Grow Up. Take care. I love y'all. All right, stand by. I'm going to play something else for you. Don't go anywhere. How about another from that show? Let's see. How about What's a good one? Let me jump back on here for a second. I want to read you an email. I was going to go, but now I'm staying. I want to play you one more video, but I want to read you an email first. I hope you're all still there. All right. I want to read you this email. These are the things this is why I do what I do. This is an example of why I'm so thankful for what I have and what I do. What the hell's wrong with my phone? Come on. Oh, shoot. I guess I can read it this way. I'm going to read you an email, which is about a song that I wrote, and then I'm going to play you the song. This email, I'll use the individual's first name's Dustin. Hey, Michael. The most memorable show I've ever seen was a nearly 3-hour acoustic set you rocked at a pub in downtown Calgary back in 2013. The crowd was small, but that honestly made it better. It felt like we were sitting around a campfire with you singing along to every word. I said it to you after the show, but I'll say it again. Thank you for that. It's a memory that will stay with me for the rest of my life. I grew up in a northern Canadian town where we had nothing to do but drink and listen to the Misfits. I reconnected with your music when you released the Vagabond acoustic album. It became a regular listen for me. One song, however, hit me years later. I don't know what the inspiration for Best of Me was, but I can tell you what the song has become for me. In 2015, I started work on a nursery for my daughter, who we were set to welcome in a few months. Unfortunately, she came early and was stillborn. Unfinished, we closed the door to that room. It became an empty space in our lives. Sometime after, I put your album on, and the lyrics, "This empty room reaches out to take away the best of me. There is no silence to describe what I feel inside," just floored me. The rest of the lyrics suddenly connected with me in a way no song ever has. Whether you mean to or not, you wrote a song that perfectly captured the experience of child loss. We had two subsequent miscarriages. Each time, I'd complete a bit more of the room, but it was never finished. On a lighter note, we moved back to my hometown, and I now have a 2-year-old daughter and just welcomed my son back in March. I often come back to Best of Me because it reminds me of my daughter who is no longer with us. All I can say is thank you for that. If you keep putting out Radio Deadly episodes, I'll keep listening. Cheers. This is Best of Me.
Into your eyes, as I believe somehow you'd always be next to me. And this empty room reaches out to take away the best of me. There is no silence to describe what I feel inside. So walk with me, talk with me. Imagine that there's nothing that can harm you in the world. Stay with me, look at me, wait before you go. If this life has done you wrong, hold on. If you're faithless, you don't believe in anything, you get stuck there in the sadness, you're alright. If you're faithless, lay your head down in despair, captured by life's blackness, you're alright. Sort of love that outlasts time, my relative, the nihilistic thinking left behind. So I'll cover you, I'll keep you, and your beautiful smile vanish from the physical into my mind. So walk with me, talk with me. Imagine that there's nothing that can harm you in the whole wide world. Stay with me, look at me, just wait before you go. If this life has done you wrong, you hold on. If you're faithless, you don't believe in anything, you get stuck there in the blackness, you're alright. If you're faithless, lay your head
Thank you.